Imagine the version of you 10 years from now. Where are you sitting? What does your day look like? Same skills, same income range, same financial stress, just heavier responsibilities. That future doesn't come from one big mistake. It comes from one small decision repeated until it feels permanent.
Now let's talk about what most people call intelligence. A stable job, a predictable income, safe, familiar choices. And honestly, it makes sense. School trains you for it. Society rewards you for it. Everyone around you is doing the same thing. So certainty doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like common sense. But here's what rarely gets said out loud. Certainty doesn't remove risk. It just hides it.
This is the part people misunderstand. This isn't where they fail. This is where they settle. You get a stable job and survival anxiety fades. That's progress. But then something subtle happens. You stop learning anything that doesn't help this role. You avoid uncertain opportunities because the paycheck feels reliable. You focus on saving small amounts instead of building skills that scale. Not because you're lazy, because safety feels good, and your brain wants to protect it. Here's the psychological shift most people never notice. Every time you choose the guaranteed outcome, your tolerance for uncertainty shrinks. At first, uncertainty feels uncomfortable. Later, it feels irresponsible. Eventually, it feels impossible. That's when certainty stops being a choice. It becomes a dependency, and growth doesn't feel risky anymore. It feels threatening. The risk nobody talks about. This is where thinking breaks. People believe uncertainty is the danger, but certainty carries a guarantee too, a ceiling. Your income stalls because your skills stop expanding. Your investments stay small because your understanding never grows. Your time disappears into optimizations that never compound. You feel safe, but your financial life freezes, quietly, permanently.
What the other path actually looks like. The people who chose growth didn't feel confident. They failed. They wasted time. They lost money learning. But something changed. Their capacity expanded. They earned more because they became more. They invested more because they understood more. They weren't fearless. They were trained to handle uncertainty.
Why no one warns you?
Because responsibility looks exactly like stagnation, right up until it's too late. You get praised for being stable, validated for being careful, rewarded for playing small correctly. So no alarm ever goes off. The damage feels like maturity. Let's be clear. Certainty isn't the enemy. You need stability. You need a foundation. But certainty was never meant to be your identity. It's a tool, and tools are meant to be used, not lived inside.
The real decision. Every wealthy person made this decision at some point. Not to abandon safety, but to refuse letting safety define their limits. They kept the job and still built skills that scale. They protected capital and still learned how bigger money works. Because they understood one thing. Certainty builds comfort. Growth builds wealth. And one always resists the other. So think again about that future version of you. When was the last time you chose something uncertain because it could expand your capacity? Not because it was safe, not because it was guaranteed, but because it could take you somewhere comfort never will. If you can't remember, that's the decision capping your net worth.